What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Krusty Trucks. If this is your first time joining me, my name's Tucker, and this is my new to me 2003 Dodge Ram 3500 four-wheel drive with not the Cummins or the 5.7, the V10. It's the 8-liter V10, and this is the last year that they made this engine. So what we're going to do today is we're going to change the oil, we're going to change the oil filter, we're going to change the diff fluids, and we're going to do a service on the transmission. So let's get started, and here we go. Alright, first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop the hood, and we'll put our gloves on. I generally like working in gloves because it, helps me clean myself up better. Get up here on our step bumper. Let's just check the engine oil, see what we look like. Check this. We're a little low. I know I have a leak somewhere over here on this passenger side bank, but we're going to take the oil filter cap off. You guys can hear Scout barking. I'm going to take you guys in here and show you what this big behemoth looks like. So guys, here it is, the very illustrious 8-liter V10. This is the last year that Dodge offered this in the heavy-duty series of trucks. Most people think, oh, it's a V10, blah, 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 and it got no power or anything. Well, contrary to popular belief, from 1994 till 2003, this put out more horsepower, and in 2003, it put 10 foot-pounds less out than the Cummins. And these are very reliable engines. They're very good. They make really good tow rigs. All right, guys, now that we're under here, we're going to clean up a little bit of this mess around here. I know that I have a leaky rear main, and I will change that, but today's not going to be the day that I'm going to change the rear main. I have to take the transmission out and all that jazz, and I am not wanting to do all of that today. So what we're going to do is take our 5/8 wrench, and we're going to loosen this bolt, and we're going to let this oil drain inside of our nice Harbor Freight bucket, 5-gallon bucket. Let's see how much we get on us, or if we drop the bolt in the oil. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ha! We did it! So now we're just going to let this oil drain into here. See if we get anything on the magnet. No? Oil smells like oil. Smells clean. There's nothing in it. No chunks, no water. Nothing crazy like that. So that's a win. All right, guys. Now that we have the oil drained, we are going to put our bolt back in. And then we're going to move on to the oil filter. Next order of business is we're going to take our filter off using our oil filter wrench. All right, let's see if whoever changed the oil in this last overdid it, like 99% of mechanics do. Oh, wow. Surprisingly easy. That was a little bit tighter than hand tight. So now, just gonna let this drip. Let all this drain out into our Harbor Freight bucket full of oil. Alright. Use our gripper rag. And what we don't want to do is probably what I'm going to do. We're probably going to drop it in the oil, and then it's going to splash everywhere and then make a big mess. So what you want to do is push up against the oil filter until, there we go. We got it. Didn't make a huge mess either, so that's great. So we're just going to let this all drain out, and then we'll put our new filter on. Next thing what I like to do is I like to use carburetor cleaner, brake clean, whatever, and then I just like to spray the oil filter housing and get all that nasty gunk and everything off of it. Just gonna spray that down, get all nice and clean, wipe it off. Make sure that the extra oil filter ring left on here, because sometimes when you pull your oil filter off, it leaves the old rubber O-ring on here. So making sure that we don't have that on there. That looks pretty good to me. Nice and clean. Looks good. So what I like to do with my oil filters is I like to write the date and the miles. So today is March 4th. So we're going to go 3, 4, 24, and then the mileage is 257. Go 900, because I know we're close to it. So that's what we're going to do. Looks just like that. Let this dry. And then another thing I like to do is, I'm one of these type of people that if I can, I like to pre-fill my oil filters. Just because that if you don't fill your oil filter, that your engine runs without filtering oil for, you know, a few seconds, and that's going to be a dry start, and which is not really, you know, good for your bearings and your cam and all that stuff in there. So if I can, I like to refill my oil filters at least up to, you know, some sort of level. So we're going to refill our oil filter, and then we're going to put it up onto the truck. Now that our oil filter is completely full, I'm just going to take a little bit and rub my finger around this O-ring here, and then we're going to put it up under the truck. Here we go. Now that we are good to go, we're just going to spin this little baby on, and then we will be done under here for changing oil. Come on, bite. Get them threads. There we go. I'm going to spin it on. And people, for the love of all that's holy, please do not tighten these things down to oblivion, please. They only need to be hand tight or a little bit tighter than hand tight. You don't have to give it 150 foot-pounds, okay? Just make sure you get it snug. Now that we took care of everything under the truck as far as oil change goes, we're going to add oil. So for this, according to Dodge, it says it takes 7 quarts for with filter change. So we've already added a little bit. So we're going to add the rest of this 5, and then we're going to add 2 of these, and we're going to check. See how much we can get in here and how much we can spill. Yeah, there we go. I wonder what old Derek from Vice Grip Garage is doing today. Just gonna do all this, pour this whole thing in there, trying not to make a mess. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I'm using STP 10W30. 10W30 is what Dodge calls for these V10s. So that's what I'm going to use. Normally I would put 1540 in, like I do all of my other gas engines, but since this is a little bit newer, I'm just going to run 1030 in it. Alright, there's one down. We'll probably pull the dipstick, get it all nice and clean. Have I seen a dipstick that long on a gas truck? Look at that. Alright, we're going to wipe that off. So we've already added 5. Gonna add this. Add a little bit of this, and then we'll recheck. And with it having a rear main seal leak, it really wouldn't hurt to overfill it just a hair. So that's probably what I'll do. Just overfill it a hair. Wait for this to settle. Down in there. I might have some Lucas Stay Bill I could add to it, but I'm not entirely sure. And then once we start it, all right, see, look at that. We're right on the safe line. So we're going to start the truck real quick. Let it pull some of that oil down there. And then we will recheck. Now that it chokes some down, gonna recheck. Probably have to add some more. We'll see. See, now we're on the bottom end of the safe, so we'll add a little bit more. As I spill it everywhere. Let this settle. And we'll check again. Just need a hair more. Just a hair more. I'd rather it be at the top than at the bottom of safe. I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather run it a little high than run it a little low. Right at the very top of the safe mark, so we are good to go. Put this back in. Alright. Now we'll put our oil cap back on. And that's it for the oil change. Alright, y'all, next thing we're going to do, we're going to check our rear diff fluid. Which, with how this truck was maintained, it wouldn't surprise me if it's good. So we're going to take this out. Break that loose. Just in case. See if anything comes out. There's a little bit on the magnet, as you guys can see. Nothing too bad so far. See if I can stick my finger in there and touch something. Oh man, that is perfect. Wow, thought I was gonna have to change the diff fluid, but that stuff is perfectly colored, perfectly clear brown. And we are sitting on the hill a little bit, so we could probably add just a hair. Man, I was gonna change it, but not like that. And according to Dodge, it says you need to use 75/90 in both the front and rear diff. So that is what we're going to use. And I'm just going to put a little bit in here. Cut that off. Then we're just going to add some till it comes out. Oh, come on, Cap. Alright. You see it coming out. What did I do with my top? Yeah, we're not gonna change that because that fluid is absolutely perfect. Just want it snug. Now we'll move on to the front. Do the same thing. Now that we're under the front of the truck, we're going to check the front diff as well. This one is usually overlooked by people, but since this was a Bobcat delivery / service truck, it should have been serviced and kept up with, but we're gonna check it ourselves anyways. All right, we're gonna get our little breaker bar. We're gonna try to get it in here. It's all crusty. We're just gonna break it loose. Make sure we've got a little towel under here. Not much flakage on the front of that. It's pretty nice. It doesn't leak. Stick my finger in here and see what we got. Can't really tell. It's dark under here. The fluid is definitely down. It's a little dark, but it could be from all of the crap I have on my hand. Alright, so we're gonna put some of this in there if we can. This track bar is in the way. I'd really need one of those little pumper things, but maybe we can go like this and just squeeze it in there like so till it starts to run out everywhere. Just fill this up. Alright, that's one bottle down. Alright, it's starting to come out. I'm gonna put this back in. And usually people, whenever you are servicing your front and rear diff, do them at the same time. Don't do a front one and just leave the back one. Don't do the back one and just leave the front one. They're like brakes. You need to change both of them at the same time. So just go ahead and take the extra 3 minutes it takes to do it, and just do it. All right. You know, as people say, don't half-A it, you know. So I've been having an issue with my truck of where the blower motor only works on high. So it's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be a vacuum issue or it's going to be the blower motor resistor. And I don't hear any vacuum sucking or any noises like that. So I'm going straight to the blower motor resistor. The blower motor resistor on a 3rd gen Dodge is going to be under the glove box over here, and it's on the passenger side, and it's going to be right on the side of the blower motor. So all we've got is one little clip and 2 small screws, and we're going to pull it out and replace it. So here we go. Get that clip out. On this one, it's 2 Phillips heads. Just gonna put those down here. We're going to, oh Lord. I can see why it's like that. It's full of crap. Ew. There's all kinds of stuff in the heater box. Alright, so we're going to get the vacuum cleaner and we're going to suck all of this stuff out, and then we're going to replace it. Something made its house in here. Gross. We're gonna get air and blow it out. Got our blower? We're gonna blow everything out. We're gonna blow through our vents and everything. I wonder if that's the reason why I'm not getting any AC or heat coming out too. It's probably full of crap. Yeah. Lord knows what all I'm touching. Probably Fievel and all of his friends. I want this to be as clean as I possibly can get it. Make sure that nothing's gonna get on top of this. I don't feel anything in the heater core. So maybe we fixed it. So we'll put this back in. We used our cutters, our diagonal cutters, and we cut the little silver piece housing off around it. So now this should slide in with no problem. Oh yeah, just like that. Make sure that there's nothing around it that can get in the way. Doesn't seem to be that way. So we're going to hook it up, put it back in, put these screws in, and then we're gonna see what happens. Y'all have faith? I don't know if I do. Some kind of water leak somewhere, because the floor over here is soaking wet. So we're gonna put new carpet in the truck anyways. That's in. Now let's test it out. Turn our key on. Works on low, medium, high and really high, where it shakes the whole truck and makes an awful noise. But all that works. So that's good. So I was going to service the transmission on the truck today, but it's been raining and I can't pull the truck into the shop because it's too big and too wide. So we will go to a part 2 for this video, and I will show you guys how to service your transmission and adjust the bands. So until then, I'm Tucker with Krusty Trucks, signing off.